Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another video. It's that time of the week again. It's Premier League predictions time. Another round of exciting and intriguing Premier League encounters are almost upon us for this weekend. And of course, this is the video where I try and talk about and analyse and as well as give my predictions on how I think each and every single game will turn out in game week 7 of the brand new campaign. Before we get into all of that, though, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And, of course, I encourage you all to get involved in the comment section down below. Use and abuse that section, people. Give me your thoughts, comments, opinions, feelings on all of this weekend's games. But most of all, of course, I am looking out for your predictions because, after all, people, where would a Premier League predictions video be without predictions? Sound good? Great. Let's kick things off, shall we? And we have got a Friday night game for us to contend with. So, fantasy football managers, get your teams in order before Friday night's kickoff. It is Bournemouth taking on Fulham at the Vitality Stadium. And I have gone 2-0 to Bournemouth. Now, this is going to be an awkward encounter because I was debating whether or not to give Fulham a goal or not. They have the capabilities of doing so. Plus, it's Marco Silva's side, so you don't really know which side is going to turn up. It could be a side that simply is going to be contesting for every first and second ball. It's going to be right in Bournemouth's face, and it's going to be a very difficult side to not only just break down, but to beat in general. Or it could be a side that Bournemouth simply blow out the water, which they have the capabilities of doing so, especially with the form of a current Antoine Semenyo, who is currently absolutely obliterating the Premier League right now. He's been absolutely fantastic. Bournemouth have been brilliant. Fulham have been very good. Both not coming into this one off the back of good results though, but I think being at home, I'm going to give Bournemouth the edge here. The only thing I'm debating of is whether or not they keep a clean sheet or not. I was tempted to go 2-1, but I'm sticking with my original prediction of 2-0. I think Bournemouth will win, get the clean sheet, and above all, get the 3 points that they need. Moving on to Saturday's lunchtime game, and we've got a quality game that should be playing out at Ellen Road between Leeds United and Tottenham. And as you can see, I've gone with a 2-1 win to Tottenham. Could be a tricky game because we all know how awkward Tottenham can be at times, and especially with the midweek game against Bodo Glimt, maybe the extra minutes in the legs of those players might play a factor in this that Leeds can capitalise on. So maybe, just maybe, Leeds might actually get something from this game. I still think that Tottenham may have just that little bit of extra quality in the final third to get across the finish line, which is what may be the difference maker on the day. But that isn't to say that this is a foregone conclusion. Like I say, Leeds at home have proven to be quite difficult this season, and especially against a Tottenham side who we know can be a bit awkward. We know that obviously they gave Wolves their first point of the season last week. And obviously, like I say, they have been away midweek to Bodo Glimt. It could be a difficult game for both of these sides. So I think it could be a very interesting one, but I am going for Tottenham to win. I just think on paper they have the extra quality in certain areas to get the job done. Next, we're moving on to Arsenal taking on West Ham. And as you can see, I have gone 2-0 to the Gunners. Now, of course, life under Nuno Espirito Santo started off mediocrely for West Ham in a 1-1 draw with Everton on Monday. They now move on to a big London derby against Arsenal. And Arsenal are coming into this one in very, very good form. They have got the wind in their sails. They've got the momentum on their side. They probably are going to wipe the floor with West Ham. I only say 2-0 because I think it will just basically be a very simplistic job, in all honesty and with all due respect, but a job that, you know, they can deal with quite comprehensively and quite professionally. We'll go with professionally. I still think that maybe with the small amount of time Nuno's had, maybe we can see changes in this West Ham setup from the previous regime under Graham Potter. Maybe more so solid defensively. But like I say, with the momentum on Arsenal's side, with the quote-unquote handbrake off is what a lot of people were saying last weekend against Newcastle, of course, and obviously midweek as well against Olympiacos in the Champions League. I think Arsenal will be able to capitalise and potentially put a lot of pressure on Liverpool as we head into the international break, as Arsenal could, of course, finish this weekend and going into the international break top of the league with a win here. So that could obviously be the case. I'm going with Arsenal to win. Next up, big game at Old Trafford. Manchester United taking on Premier League new boys Sunderland. And as you can see, I've gone with a 2-1 win to Sunderland. Now, that isn't to say that this is a foregone conclusion, and it sounds daft of me to say, given it's Manchester United, but of course, I just don't know what to make of Manchester United these days. I put them to win against Brentford last week, and that didn't happen, of course. I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad to be wrong, because anything to keep Manchester United down in the mud. But at the same time, I genuinely don't know what to make of this. I was tempted to go for a draw. In this one. I think Sunderland have been very, very good this season. I think they've been better than what a lot of people would have imagined them to have started the season off like. And of course, they've got many points on the board so far this season, including, of course, that big win last weekend against Nottingham Forest. And I think they can fancy their chances here of getting something. Like I say, United have the individual quality. They have the chances created on their side. The problem with that is that they just don't seem to have the ability to put away those chances right now. Maybe it's a confidence thing. Maybe it's a form thing. That could obviously change this weekend, but it's a massive game for Ruben Amorim, especially going into the international break. There's pressure already on his shoulders, and you do fear that a loss here could spell the end of his reign during the international break with Manchester United. We'll obviously wait and see what happens. I'm going for Sunderland to win, but like I say, don't rule out Man United. Don't rule out the individual quality that they have, and don't rule them out when their back's against the wall either. They seem to turn up on those odd occasions. Don't be surprised if that happens this weekend. Moving on to one of many Sunday games, and first up we're at Villa Park for Aston Villa against Burnley, and I've gone 3-1 to Aston Villa. I think we can already tell the writing is seemingly on the wall for Burnley, if it wasn't already. A heavy 5-1 defeat to Manchester City last week. Similarly to Leeds, though, they could potentially take advantage of the extra 90 minutes in the legs of some of those Aston Villa players, with them obviously playing in Europa League action on Thursday night. So that could obviously be the case there. But we'll wait and see, obviously, how that factors into Aston Villa and Unai Emery's game plan for this game. Of course, there could be some rotation. We shall wait and see. But overall, you would expect after picking up that big win last week for Villa, that maybe that will be the catalyst to really igniting and beginning their season all over. Ollie Watkins got on the score sheet as well, so maybe this could be the beginning of a good goal scoring run for him. And of course, he'll fancy his chances against the Burnley side, who, like I say, haven't had the best of times as of recently. Is there any hope for Burnley? Like I say, there is potentially the factor of Europa League football weighing on those Aston Villa players. But overall, you would say that with the quality that Villa have, the rotation, the options off the bench, and all of that kind of stuff, the scales would probably tip in Aston Villa's favour, which is why I'm going for a 3-1 win in favour of the Villains. Next up, we're at Everton's new stadium for the arrival of Crystal Palace, the in-form and unbeaten, the only team unbeaten this season as things stand right now, Crystal Palace. And I've gone 2-1 to Palace. I think they'll maintain their unbeaten start to the season and even more so kick on from that incredible 2-1 victory against Liverpool, the Premier League leaders last weekend, ending their unbeaten start to the campaign, by the way, ending their perfect start to the season. Palace are in great form right now. Palace are in really, really good form. The 2-1 scoreline does not tell the entire story of last week's win against Liverpool. They really could have had 3, 4, 5 or even 6 in the first half alone, could Crystal Palace. You do fear that maybe if Everton are defensively resolute and strong, that maybe the longer the game goes, that Everton could capitalise. Again, Crystal Palace are in Europa Conference League action this week, so it's going to be interesting to see how they manage to balance things with obviously playing 2 games a week from this point forward. Everton, like I say, they might fancy their chances, but I just think that with the way that Palace are going right now, with the momentum in their legs, with the kind of way that they started the season, I think Palace will get the job done. So I'm going 2-1 to Oliver Glasner's side and another win for Crystal Palace. Next up, Newcastle take on Nottingham Forest at St James's Park, and I have gone 3-1 to Newcastle. The fact that this game isn't on Sky, by the way, but all the other games that are starting at 2 o'clock are, it's just mad, by the way, but I digress. Newcastle 3, Forest 1 is what I've gone for. Now again, Newcastle have Champions League football to contend with, but Forest also have Europa League football to contend with tonight as well. So it's kind of balanced a little bit. Obviously, they've had the extra day's rest for Newcastle, but it's going to be very interesting to see how these two teams balance this one out. I've gone 3-1 to Newcastle because I think they can take advantage of the kind of football and the kind of lack of defensive awareness that this Forest side seem to have picked up under Ange Postecoglou in recent games. Like, it just seems like they've gone from Nuno, which was basically very defensive-minded and solid defensively, disciplined defensively, and within a short space of time, Postecoglou's gone, yeah, forget all of that. We're going to do it my way. And they do look vulnerable, Forest. They look dangerous going forward. They've still got some dangerous players going forward. But, yeah, defensively, they do look suspect. And I think that can play into Newcastle's hands. They've got the informed Nick Voltermader, of course. They'll have Anthony Gordon back for this game as well. So there's going to be some interesting points to this game. There's going to be some very interesting players to look out for, some very interesting moments to look out for in this game. And I think Newcastle can get the job done. Is there any hope for Forest in this? Of course there is. Nothing's ever a foregone conclusion. But are they really going to get their first win under their belts away from home at St James's Park? A tricky place to go. Yeah, Newcastle did bottle it last week to Arsenal. But at the same time, that's Arsenal. This is Forest, with all due respect. I think Newcastle will get the job done. So I'm going 3-1 to the Magpies. Next on the list is Molineux awaiting the arrival of Brighton. It is Wolves against the Seagulls, and I've gone with a 2-0 win to Brighton. Now, Wolves did pick up their first point of the season last weekend against Tottenham. Could that potentially be the catalyst to obviously ignite their season? Well, they're going to be facing a very tricky task against Brighton, who will still be flying high off of that big win against Chelsea last weekend. A much needed win, of course, for Brighton. I can only see one winner, and that's Brighton. Again, nothing's ever a foregone conclusion, but I just think that the way that Brighton are creating chances, it's only a matter of time before they actually start putting those chances away. And I think that could really begin in this game here. So I am going with a 2-0 win to Brighton. Again, Wolves could obviously stop that clean sheet from happening for the Seagulls, but I'm going to say that won't happen. I'm going to say that Brighton do actually keep a clean sheet this weekend. Our penultimate game on this list sees Brentford host Manchester City, and I have gone with a 3-1 win to Man City. Now, of course, last weekend was a massive win for Brentford over Manchester United. Could they topple another Manchester club this time around? I doubt it. As much as obviously it's at home, they're very good at home, Brentford. They're awkward to play against at times. I just think that Man City, especially with Erling Haaland at the helm as well, are going to prove to be too much for Brentford. I mean, Haaland is in sparkling form right now. It seems like everything he touches turns to gold. I just think they'll have too much for Brentford at the end of the day. Can they take some hope and some positivity from the fact that Man City bottled it midweek against Monaco in the Champions League? Of course they can. City are not impenetrable. They are not indestructible. But yet, I still would assume and would imagine that Man City win this game. So I'm going for a 3-1 win in favour of Pep Guardiola's side. And that means, of course, that in my opinion, the biggest game of this round of fixtures, then the main event of this upcoming weekend's round of Premier League encounters, comes from Stamford Bridge. It's blue versus red. It is a Premier League classic. It is Chelsea against Liverpool. And as much as I don't want this to happen, because obviously I want Liverpool to win every game, I've got to go with recent form on this. I'm going 1-1. I'm genuinely going 1-1. I don't want to. I want to say that Liverpool win. I want to say that this is the moment that Liverpool actually arrived this season. We put down a very, very good performance. We get a very, very good victory under our belts at a stadium which hasn't exactly been too kind to us in recent times. But I just can't. And especially after the terrible week we've had of suffering back-to-back losses to both Palace and then Galatasaray in the Champions League, I cannot for the life of me I simply cannot for the life of me say that we will, or be extremely confident enough to say that we win. I can't. Neither side has been particularly great this season so far. I'm hoping that this is the game Liverpool turn up to. But I also know that Chelsea have it in them to turn up in these games as well. And especially against Liverpool with the history and the rivalry there. I know that that Chelsea often do turn it up a few extra notches against Liverpool. So I'm somewhat a little worried about this game in all honesty. The upside for me is that there's no Cole Palmer for Chelsea, which is good. But for us, there's no Alisson. Ekatike is a bit 50-50. I mean, when you put it that way, we still should have the players to obviously go and win there, but I don't know, man. This could be anything. This could go any which way. This could be anything of a scoreline. I'm just hoping and praying that my players turn up. I'm hoping that my players actually fix up, turn up, and lay down a statement. Because this would be a statement victory if the performance is also right. If, again, we smash and grab it, I'll be happy for the win. I'll be happy that, we got another victory, even though we may not have played particularly well, because it is a very difficult away ground to go to. But at the same time, I still would want a performance, because it's getting to that point now where the wins are great, but everybody knows, and every Liverpool fan has said this as well, they're not sustainable wins. So I'd like us to actually begin to put towards a sustainable sort of performance that we can build upon for games to come after the international break, and we can say, look, past couple of results haven't gone according to plan, but those were the wake-up calls that we needed. We're back now. I need Arne Slot to not overthink this one. I need him to just go in there with a clear plan, and for that plan to work, Florian Wirtz through the middle, if obviously he's going to be playing him, Salah to turn up, Isak to be firing on all cylinders, and of course at the back, Van Dijk, as he has been all season, to be that imperious rock that we know he can be, and we know that he is. So I'm hoping and praying for a Liverpool win, but I'm struggling. I'm struggling to be completely positive on this one. I'm going for Chelsea to get a point against Liverpool, 1-1, but fingers crossed that I'm so wrong on this. And there you have it. Those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys are thinking and feeling. Let me know what you are thinking and feeling about each and every single Premier League game to come. And, of course, drop your predictions down below in the comment section about each and every single Premier League game to come this weekend. Would love to hear from you all. Would love to read what your predictions are. Hit the like button on the way if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And, of course, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Premier League predictions video, and I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.